Some words should never be spoken. Some lines should never be crossed. And when a man like Jon Moxley finally breaks his silence after months of restraint, after biting his tongue while the entire wrestling world waited for him to explode, you better believe the fallout is going to shake the foundation of professional wrestling itself. What you're about to witness is not just another wrestling feud. This is personal. This is raw. This is about respect, legacy, and a comment so devastating that it threatened to tear apart the very fabric of what we hold sacred in this business. Right now, as you're watching this, I need you to understand something. The Slam Zone family is built on people who live and breathe this industry. People who understand that wrestling isn't just about championships and main events. It's about the souls who step between those ropes every single night. And when someone crosses a line that attacks the memory of a wrestler's father, their family, their blood, that's when brotherhood gets tested. That's when silence becomes deafening. If you feel what I'm saying right now, if you understand that this goes beyond anything we've seen before, then I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart to hit that subscribe button. Join us. Become part of something real. Because what we're about to break down together isn't just news. It's history in the making. The tension has been building for months. Ever since CM Punk returned to professional wrestling, the whispers started. The backstage rumors. The cryptic interviews. And then came the moment that changed everything. During a heated exchange, words were said. Words about Jon Moxley's late father. Words that cut deeper than any suplex, any chair shot, any blood-soaked death match could ever reach. The wrestling community collectively gasped. Social media erupted. Podcasts debated for weeks. But through it all, one voice remained silent. Jon Moxley. The man who built his entire career on speaking his truth, on never backing down, on being the most authentic voice in wrestling, said nothing. That silence wasn't weakness. That silence was a storm gathering strength. That silence was a man processing betrayal, hurt, and rage in a way that only someone who's lost a parent can truly understand. Because when you lose your father, when that pillar of strength is taken from you, when those memories become all you have left, having someone weaponize that pain for a wrestling storyline is unforgivable. Let me paint the picture for you. Jon Moxley, the lunatic fringe, the man who's bled in parking lots and fought in warehouses across the world, sitting alone after a show. Phone blowing up with messages asking if he's okay. Reporters demanding statements. Fans divided on social media. And through it all, he's thinking about his dad. About the man who drove him to his first wrestling shows. Who believed in him when nobody else did. Who never got to see his son become the world champion he is today. That's the reality behind the headlines. CM Punk, meanwhile, had been on his own journey. The voice of the voiceless, but Moxley didn't take the bait. Not that night. Not the next week. Not even when reporters cornered him in parking lots asking for comments. His friends in the locker room rallied around him, but they knew better than to speak on his behalf. This was something Moxley needed to process alone. This was about more than winning a feud or cutting the better promo. This was about honoring his father's memory in the right way. The wrestling world collectively held its breath. Message boards analyzed every Instagram post. YouTube channels dissected body language from backstage footage. Fans debated whether Moxley's silence meant he was done with Punk forever or planning something monumental. The speculation became deafening. But still, Moxley remained silent. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And just when everyone thought maybe he'd never address it, maybe he'd let it fade into wrestling lore as the comment that never got answered, everything changed. Before we continue, I want to take a moment here. If you're feeling this story the way I am, if your heart is racing wondering what happens next, then do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Slam Zone and join this incredible family of wrestling fans who understand that this business is about more than just moves and matches. We're building something special here and I want you to be part of it. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know. Because what we're about to get into is the kind of moment that defines careers, that reshapes rivalries, that reminds us why we fell in love with professional wrestling in the first place. The breaking point came during a press conference. It was supposed to be routine. Standard media obligations before a major pay-per-view event. Moxley sat at the table, water bottle in front of him, cap pulled low. The usual questions came. Training regimen. Match predictions. Future plans. And then, a reporter asked the question everyone wanted answered but few had the courage to voice. Jon, CM Punk mentioned your father several months ago. You never responded publicly. Do you have anything to say about that now? The room went silent. You could hear camera shutters clicking. Reporters leaned forward. Other wrestlers at adjacent tables stopped their conversations to listen. This was it. The moment of truth. Moxley took a long drink of water. He had just his cap. He looked directly into the camera, and when he spoke, his voice was steady, controlled. But beneath that control, you could hear the emotion threatening to break through. "You want to know why I didn't respond?" Moxley began, his words measured and deliberate. "You want to know why I let months go by without firing back? It's simple. My father taught me something that apparently some people never learned. He taught me that there are things in life bigger than winning an argument, bigger than getting the last word, bigger than this business we're in." The room remained frozen. Every person present understood they were witnessing something rare, something real. This wasn't a worked shoot. This wasn't a storyline blurring reality and fiction. This was a man speaking from a place of genuine pain and genuine strength. "My dad worked 2 jobs to pay for my wrestling training," Moxley continued, and you could see his jaw tighten. "He drove me to shows in towns you've never heard of. He sat in crowds of 30 people watching me wrestle for gas money. And when I called him after signing my first real contract, I heard something in his voice I'd never heard before. Pride. Pure, unfiltered pride. Not because I was going to be famous or make money. Because I was doing what I loved. Because I refused to quit when everyone said I should." He paused, collecting himself. "So when someone uses my father's memory as ammunition in a wrestling feud, when someone takes the most important relationship in my life and turns it into a talking point for ratings. Yeah, I had a lot I wanted to say. I wanted to explode. I wanted to burn everything down. But then I thought about what my old man would want. And he wouldn't want me compromising who I am because someone else doesn't understand boundaries." The emotion in the room was palpable. Seasoned reporters were wiping their eyes. Fellow wrestlers nodded in understanding. This was more than a response to an insult. This was a masterclass in dignity, in choosing your battles, in honoring someone's memory through action rather than reaction. But Moxley wasn't finished. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes burning with intensity. "Here's what I will say though. CM Punk and I are going to settle this. Not with promos. Not with social media posts. Not with cute references to people who can't defend themselves. We're going to settle this the way my father would respect. Between the ropes. In front of a live crowd. With nothing but our skill, our toughness, and our will to prove who the better man is. And when that bell rings, when we're standing across from each other with nowhere to hide, that's when Punk will understand the difference between crossing a line for shock value and crossing paths with someone who fights for something bigger than himself." The press conference ended shortly after. But Moxley's words reverberated through the wrestling industry like an earthquake. Social media exploded with reactions. Wrestlers from multiple promotions weighed in with support. Even fans who had been critical of Moxley's silence now understood the wisdom in his restraint. He had turned what could have been an ugly war of words into something profound. A statement about character, about legacy, about the things that truly matter when the spotlight fades and the crowds go home. CM Punk, for his part, remained characteristically defiant. In a later interview, he suggested that Moxley was being overly sensitive, that professional wrestling has always pushed boundaries, that if you can't handle the heat you should stay out of the kitchen. But there was something different in Punk's tone. A subtle shift. Because deep down, even he had to recognize that invoking someone's deceased parent crossed a line that talent and charisma can't justify. The match was scheduled. 3 weeks away. A marquee pay-per-view event. No disqualifications. No countouts. Just 2 of the best in-ring performers of their generation with a score to settle that went beyond wins and losses. The promotional material practically wrote itself. Every interview became must-see television. Every training video dropped on social media got millions of views. Because everyone understood this wasn't just another match. This was personal. This was real. This was 2 men who had legitimate issues with each other stepping into the ring to resolve them the old-fashioned way. The build-up was electric. Moxley trained like a man possessed, posting videos of brutal workout sessions, sparring footage that looked more like preparation for a street fight than a wrestling match. His intensity was frightening. This wasn't about winning a championship or headlining a show. This was about defending his father's honor. About proving that some things are sacred, even in the often cynical world of professional wrestling. Punk, meanwhile, played the psychological game. He posted throwback photos from their independent days together, captions dripping with sarcasm about how far they'd both come, how different their paths had been. He did interviews where he questioned Moxley's mental state, suggested that maybe the emotional response proved he wasn't ready for this level of competition. Classic Punk tactics. Get in your opponent's head before the first bell even rings. But here's the thing about Jon Moxley. The man thrives in chaos. The more personal it gets, the more focused he becomes. And everyone in the wrestling world knew that when that match finally happened, when these two warriors stepped between those ropes, we were about to witness something special. Something that would be talked about for years. Because this wasn't just about who was the better wrestler. This was about principles. About respect. About the line between entertainment and exploitation. Now, before we get to what happened in that match, I need you to do something for me. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you're part of the Slam Zone family and never miss a breakdown like this. Drop a comment below telling me your thoughts on this entire situation. Do you think Moxley handled it the right way? Was Punk out of line? How would you have responded? I read every single comment, and this community we're building is all about real conversations about the wrestling we love. So please take 2 seconds, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and let's continue this journey together. The night of the match arrived. The arena was sold out. Fans held signs supporting both men. The energy was different from a normal wrestling show. This felt bigger, more important. When Moxley's music hit, the crowd erupted. He walked to the ring with purpose, eyes locked on the squared circle like it was the only thing in the world that mattered. No theatrics, no pandering to the cameras, just a man ready to fight for something meaningful. Punk's entrance was vintage CM Punk, confident, defiant, playing to the crowd's mixed reaction with that smirk that's made him millions. But if you watched closely, you could see something in his eyes too. An understanding that this night was different. That the man waiting for him in the ring wasn't just another opponent. This was someone with nothing to lose and everything to prove. The referee called for the bell. And in that moment, everything that had been said, everything that had been building for months, all of it crystallized into pure, unadulterated combat. This is what Jon Moxley's father would have wanted. Not revenge through cheap words. Not victory through manipulation. Just two warriors testing each other in the most honest way professional wrestling allows. And as these two icons prepared to collide, every single person watching knew they were about to witness something legendary. Something that would define both men's legacies forever. This is where legends are made. This is Slam Zone. And you just witnessed why this story matters. Why wrestling, at its best, is about so much more than entertainment. It's about honor, family, and the unbreakable bonds that make us who we are.